This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yes, sir. There we go.
What is this? You got me on backstage. I don't see my picture. Is that me or is that you?
No, that's let's see. No, it's I don't know. That's you, bro.
No.
They've added you to the screen. I don't know what's going on.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Sean, what is Omar doing wrong? Because it's Omar doing something wrong.
Always me, huh?
Yeah, of course. Certainly not going to be me.
Okay, hold on.
Looks like his camera cut off.
There.
By the way, those of you on the chat board, you may want to tell Bahana rules of the show because he clearly broke.
Oh, you got rules to the show. Okay.
Yeah. There are rules to the show. One, don't tell the host what he can or cannot do or say. You don't host the show. I host the show. I talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. So, I always love the people. Well, you shouldn't talk about this. You should talk about. Well, then don't listen, my brother. It's pretty simple. That's it.
I have the same thing on Twitter for years. Like I have rules, especially now the training camp's going to ratchet up. I'll probably gain like 7,000 followers in the first week when they realize nobody reports practice like I do. But it is what it is. And then the newcomers are the worst because the newcomers don't understand your style or your sense of humor or your tone or the fact that you hate talking about quarterbacks and focus on everything else or your obsession with trench play. So they question everything. And I'm just like, one of my rules, thank you for reminding me that because I usually send that out the first day of training camp. One of my rules is just watch, see how I do things, and then you'll get me. Just be patient. You'll get me. Don't sit there and you'll figure me out.
Yeah. I just love the guys that want to produce the show and want to tell me what to say or not to say, what to opine on. If I want to opine on crypto or anything in life, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's my show. It's not your show. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. You don't like
work
it.
Very hard to build this show and this format, and they don't have an understanding or appreciation. But now, you know what? Everybody's got a podcast. Go get one.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You can do it better. Go get one.
Right. You can do it better. Go ahead, man. You can go ahead and do it. That's fine. But the one thing you don't do on this show ever, don't tell me what to say or not to say or what to do. It's not your show. It's my show. Okay. I drive the show and I decide what goes on and what is said. Yes. I love these kind of people that all of a sudden they think they're the talk show host. And I'm the one doing it for 32 years. I don't need your assistance on what I should or should not talk about. So there you go. But you get ghosted and now you will never chat again because you broke the rule. Anyway, all right. So I was having some fun with this because I know you don't really follow hockey and even baseball to a certain extent, right? You don't really follow baseball.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Do you?
No,
right?
No.
Right. You follow maybe a little basketball, probably, right?
Oh no, I follow basketball, but I
right.
Hockey
so this might, and I know you follow college football.
Yes.
So this is going to be a tough question to ask you, but yesterday the Panthers introduced their new player, Matthew Tkachuk, and just to kind of walk, Matthew Tkachuk is John Morant. Okay.
All right.
You get my drift? Okay. He's
young, talented, flashy.
But he backs it up.
Okay.
He's Jimmy Butler. Okay. So he's Jazz Chisholm. Okay. I don't know how much baseball you follow, but Jazz,
Jazz Chisholm.
Who doesn't pay attention?
I'm trying to get him on IMAX.
Jazz is the only one that makes you pay attention to baseball on that team. And Sandy, of course. But Sandy, we marvel with his talents. Jazz, we marvel with his talents, and we marvel with his other talents. You know what I mean? It's just there's a combo there that comes with it. It's like Tyreek Hill. There's a combo that comes with it.
Hey, you know what you got?
Tyler Van Dyke. Okay, so here's my question to you.
Tyler Van Dyke.
Plenty. So who's the player that carries?
It's flashy and a little charismatic.
Well, I guess you don't remember him talking about NC State. We're going to beat them and all that stuff.
Yeah. But I mean,
swag. The guy just took over as a starter, and he said, "No, we're going to beat NC State," and they went out and beat NC
State. Confidence.
Well, but some players, Zach's never going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Zach who, Thomas? Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to come out publicly and say shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So there are certain guys that have that strike. So my question is, don't go running off the beaten path on me here. Relax. Who's the player with the most swag in town right now? Jimmy Butler, Tyreek Hill, Tyler Van Dyke, Matthew Tkachuk, or Jazz Chisholm?
Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Best resume. Back it up.
Well, locally, no. It's really Jimmy, because what he did in Kansas City, we don't really care about.
No, Jimmy don't have a ring.
But locally, right now, I personally give it to Jimmy because he's accomplished more for South Florida fans. You know,
yes, accomplished more for South Florida fans. But let me ask you this question. Jimmy Butler's career finishes on the same trajectory. Is he a Hall of Fame player?
With the way he's playing with Miami, he might be one of those borderline guys that gets in. He might be, because he's also an all-league defender too, and people appreciate that too. He's always been an all-league defender his whole life, and now he has really had the stage to prove as a leader. Because man, I am so impressed the way he will score if he has to score. And then his ego says, all right, let's get everybody else involved. I'm good with 15 points and 12 assists tonight. I don't really give a shit. Yeah, he is so selfless, and he'll be selfish when you need him to be selfish. You know, that's what the great players, they know when they're needed, and I got to take over right now. Oh, okay, look, I can set everybody else up and we can keep going. You know, that's the beauty of the great player. And so that's why I ask. The reason we got it because Inter Miami doesn't have a player like that right now.
Yeah.
But the other 5 teams in town do have a player like that, and those are the 5 guys, and that's why.
The reason I answer with Tyreek Hill is because he's got a swagger that's unique to the NFL. He's Chad Johnson light, Chad Ochocinco light, and he's based on his first 6 years, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. If he does the next 6 years on the same kind of pace that he's done the first 6 years, and obviously that's going to be hard to do because of quarterback and because of basic.
Actually, he's playing. He's playing with the best receiver he's ever played with. He's never played with a guy that will command attention too, like Waddle. So that will also be a detriment to him catching as many balls as he did in Kansas City here, because Waddle's the best player he's ever played opposite of.
Oh no, don't do that, Travis Kelce.
No, I'm talking receiver, bro. I'm not talking about tight end.
Okay, that's
receiver.
Fair.
He's never had another guy opposite of him that's as talented.
But he's also at a Hall of Fame.
And by the way, Gesicki is no slouch. I know he's not Travis Kelce, but as a pass catcher, he's still a hell of a pass catcher. Top 5, top 7 in the league, maybe as a pass catcher.
To address Tyreek Hill, and I'm very curious. I will say this: Tyreek Hill is the fastest / quickest player that I've ever seen in my life. And keep in mind, I went to high school with Santana Moss. I've covered Devin Hester. I've covered the great Hurricanes. You know, Andre Johnson's probably the gold standard of wide receivers, if you don't want to put Santana Moss up there as a gold standard. Or Reggie Wayne. You could do whatever you want to do, but they're not speed guys. I've covered the Ted Gins and the Clyde Gates. I've covered Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, there's no need for a race. There's no need.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Zero. I've never seen anybody move as fast as Tyreek Hill. Like from not 0 to 60, but just quickness, just acceleration, like build-up speed. Like he goes from 0 to 60 in like 0.5 seconds. Which is half a second for those who think I don't do math. It's quite impressive, and I'm excited to see how he opens up the offense. But he also has a cockiness and a swagger that I don't think the Dolphins signed on, and they know they weren't going to be able to harness it. And 2, it's with this coaching staff, it's probably well received. He's gonna
Sean,
go
ahead. Go ahead. What you say?
Mike McDaniel is going to let guys be themselves.
Right. Yeah, which I think is really important. I think the good coaches allow players to show some personality because it allows them to feel better about themselves. But at the same time, there's always a line you want drawn, and I think most players understand that. And as long as you can stay within those parameters, you can have fun and be professional at the same time.
You know who was the last coach like this? Gase was the last coach like this. And I know Dolphin fans are gonna, not hate those comparisons, but it's true. Gase was the last coach who really allowed players to be themselves.
Right.
And Sperano, not really, because he was still on that Parcells tip.
Philbin couldn't handle it at all. Handle it.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Philbin wanted a team full of Cole Mises. And he wanted to get somebody traded every week practically, dude. I mean, he drove that front office crazy. With how many they all drive the front office crazy.
No, but this guy, I heard that this guy was like the worst. Like he couldn't coach anybody practically.
No, he couldn't.
He wanted to get rid of so many people that the front office was like, Joe, we can't do this.
I always
the repercussions with salaries and everything else, and you've got to adjust as a coach, and you've got to reach some of these personalities and this and that. And he struggled big time.
I always say this, and I don't really understand it. I don't think it's really resolved. I think Teron Armstead may be the first guy that really addressed this. Free agents, especially the top tier guys, they should take their time and actually meet their coaches and meet their GMs and talk to them and get to know them. Mike Wallace signed on with the Dolphins without ever knowing jack shit about
money because he only wanted the money. They don't read the CBA, dude.
Most of them just want the money. Let's be real.
Right. And that's why the players never progress against the owners, and the owners own them every single time in these negotiations because the league, most of the league only lasts 3 to 4 years. So all these guys, they don't give a shit about long term.
Yeah.
The stars, they're trying to talk everybody else in the long term, but those guys are like, F you, dude. I'm not here long. I'm only here a couple of years. Give me my money now. Oh, you tell me you could give me more money as a first year player, but I lose out on this or that, right? Hell yeah, give me that money. And that's the problem, that they're very short-sighted and they think about money.
No, they shouldn't be short-sighted because of the nature of the league. The guaranteed contract is all that matters in the contract. So I'm with it. Go get the most money that you can, but you also have to align yourself with a good team, good organization, good quarterback, and a place where you're comfortable. And I don't think a lot of people or players have done that oftentimes.
That reflects life. In life, people don't do their homework enough. So, to me, players are a reflection of society. There's a lot of people that just sign a contract and they don't read the bottom line.
Bro,
and there's a lot of people that make all kinds of commitments and they don't read the bottom line and they don't think of the repercussions and they don't think of their decisions. This happens. Football players are no different than we are.
Tell me, the funny thing is, I got 2 stories for you. I'll start with the first one, which is that clicking on a Sun Sentinel link, which strangely enough, I felt like weird doing it, opportunity to win a free iPad. So click on it, win the free iPad. Then you got to give them all this information to get the free iPad, and you got to pay for shipping and give them a credit card number. And then when you read the fine print, which nobody's going to read the fine print, took me 15 minutes to read the fine print. What you're doing is signing up for a year subscription of a meal plan that literally is unbreakable.
Right.
So you want the free iPad, you're going to get the $700 free iPad, yet you're signing up for a meal plan that's going to run you $50 a week for a full year.
Right. Yeah.
And you have no idea what food they're sending you. But you know what? You want the free iPad. That's one of the lessons that I've learned in my life, in my 45 years. There is nothing in this world for free. Now, put that story to the side. As you know, I've been in negotiation with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette for 2 months.
Right.
3 months or whatever. Contract is just we're back and forth. You know what that's like.
I've been there many times. Exactly what it is.
Painful experience. We finally have the contract that I'm comfortable with. They're comfortable with. Still haven't signed it. Just got an email about why I haven't signed it. Still haven't figured out what, I've made my decision what I'm going to do. But the point is, 3 months, bro, going over a contract.
I know. I've been at it. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, I've been here for years, right? I work my ass off for you. Like, what more are we trying to figure out here? Like, what the hell is this? I've been at it, bro. I've been at it I remember one of my contracts took 6 months to finish.
Yeah.
6 months.
It's just, but you have to get to a point, and I to correlate with the athletes.
Meanwhile, they're keeping you on the old terms while you're doing all of this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's the bitch of this whole thing. It's
there's definitely some dragging it out on their part. I basically was like, F you about 2 times. Like, okay, I'm good where I'm at. But it's, you gotta make sure you're at the point where you're comfortable, but understand that these guys have such a limited time slot to do it, then to make money, then to extend their career. There are 3 arcs of a player's career. It's the beginning stage, your rookie contract, to the point where you have to force them to give you money when you've played and excelled and showed that you're not a Noah Iguanagani. And then you get to the give me my money stage. Where's my money? You gotta, Christian Wilkins is in that shake them like, yo, give me my money stage.
Right.
And then you get to the Melvin Ingram stage where you're just trying to squeeze every drop of juice out that orange to the pulp to get just about every possible thing that you can get out of that. And then there's a 4th stage where they kick you out the door and they don't let you in anymore. That usually is around for the good pros. That's right. The elite guys. That's year 13. The Melvin Ingram, who's on year 12, he don't kill it this year. They're going to say, door gets shut behind you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, Tyreek Hill. Sean, if you can, pull up the soundbite of Tyreek Hill on ESPN, cussing and fussing on as they ask him about Tua. I love how he ended up dropping the F-bomb in the question, which was just a beautiful thing. Sean, let's pull up the soundbite of Tyreek Hill and asked about Tua Tagovailoa.
I'm here. I didn't see it if you played it because I think I had your sound.
Here it goes.
All right, cool. Are you hearing it? Because I'm not.
Not yet.
Okay.
I think he's positioning it.
Technical.
Should be ready any second now. He'll get it going. And by the way, you can reach out on the Welton Realm text line 855-912-1056.
Are you frozen? I'm frozen.
Text line.
No,
you ready?
I'm not frozen.
Here we go.
But it's an icebox where my heart used to be. You know what I'm saying? Because you had an opportunity to pick between Tua or pick between Zach Wilson, and you decided South Beach instead of New York. What was the determining factor in that? I'm crying inside.
I said it once and I'll say it again. Zach Wilson is a dog, but I rather play with the most accurate quarterback in the NFL, dog.
I want to pick up on that because you just called him the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. And you made a lot of headlines about Tua's accuracy, Tyreek, in comparison to Mahomes. So what have you seen from him so far this summer? And kind of elaborate on that statement that, made the media world go wild.
I mean, obviously, Tua, he's not your typical gunslinger, but like if you really like just pay attention to his game, everything is spot on, everything is pinpoint, ball is on time, his fundamentals are on point, so I mean, he takes the time to make up in other areas and be great in those other areas that, other quarterbacks may not be good at, so that's all I got to say on that. Tua, he's a fucking heck of a competitor. He's a hell of a hard worker. So like I say, man, I'm excited to work. Go to work with him. Compete with him, and battle with him.
There he is, dropping F-bombs and everything on ESPN, which was just absolutely beautiful. You're going in and out. Were you able to hear most of it or what?
No, I didn't hear any of it. Don't play it, paraphrase it. I watched the interview, so I know what you're talking about.
All right, so he basically was talking about how they asked him why choose Miami over New York and Zach, and he said, hey, Zach's a dog, but I want to play with the most accurate quarterback in the NFL, and that he talks about Tua's work ethic and that he's not your typical gunslinger, but he makes up for it in every other way of preparation and intelligence and all that other stuff, and basically he is happy where he's at. So he continues to back his guy up. And I was talking with Cham about this. And I think that Tyreek also gets to see he walked into a place that now has structure because they know offense. These guys know how to design an offense. They know how to design a running game. They know how to design a passing game.
Let's put a pause in that. Put a pin in that. Zach Wilson was the second worst quarterback in the NFL last season.
Well, I don't care about that part. Forget about that part. I'm just saying.
So it's like you're picking Tua or the second worst quarterback in the NFL. Like Tyreek was disrespectful in his introductory press conferences about the Jets. Like obviously because he's on the national media, he's talking to Bart.
Right. He slowed it down a little bit.
I get all that.
But here's my point. Tyreek stepped into a moment now where McDaniel's in place and there's more structure. There's more, common sense on offense right now. He wasn't here last year to watch the disaster of the offense and the atmosphere. So when people are questioning whether it's Tua or whatever it is, it's hard for him to understand because he didn't live what went on the last 2 years.
You know what, Tyreek?
He's defending what he's a part of right now. Right now he sees organization, in other words, on offense. And so he feels good about what he's doing.
No, I totally disagree with you. Tyreek Hill took the money. Tyreek Hill, there were two teams that would make him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL history that were offering him $30 million. It was the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. And he picked the Miami Dolphins because of location. And it wasn't quarterback. That's why I don't sit here and twist and make pontificate about.
You're talking about something completely different. I'm saying that now that he stepped into this environment,
he's saying what he needs to say before they actually.
Okay, so you say so then he's lying then.
No. He's guessing.
No. We gotta have it one way or the other, Omar. You can't play this bullshit.
He's guessing. He doesn't know crap about his head coach until the Bulls. He's saying what he needs to say. He's saying what he needs to say on the eve of training camp.
Okay, so he's not lying. He's bullshitting.
As every player does on the eve of training camp. Everybody's going to the Super Bowl. And
but so you say he's bullshitting.
He don't know nothing about Mike McDaniel. Nothing. Nobody. Neither does anybody on that training camp.
How can you say they don't know anything about Mike?
Because the bullets aren't flying, and they don't know how he responds.
I get that, but I just talked to Cameron Wolf now. Okay. And he's in Jacksonville, and he's talking about how the players tell him it's a world of difference in their preparation now with Peterson than it was last year with Urban Meyer. And I'm sure
they said the same thing when Urban Meyer took over for whoever was Jacksonville's coach.
So wait a minute. So you don't think that the way Mike McDaniel runs an offense, it makes more sense than anything Flo did last year.
No, last year, maybe.
Yes.
Ken Gailey
yes,
year?
like he has a real quarterbacks coach handling the quarterbacks. He has real offensive coordinator handling the offense. He has real offensive line coaches handling the offensive linemen. How can you tell me when you look at that shitbag coaching staff they had last year and this coaching staff that is proven, how can you tell me the players cannot see the difference already? I'm not telling you that the finished product is incredible, but the preparation product right now, they must have experienced something different over the last couple of months than they did last year. That's all I'm saying. The environment has to be different, bro.
No. And here's the reason why I say no.
Just tell me why you're dead wrong. Go ahead.
Okay, here's the reason why I say no. One, based on what I've seen in this OTA, and yes, they're installing a new offense, which Tua and the two Studsville and Godsey didn't have to install a new offense. They tinkered and changed the offense. But last year's training camp, last year's offseason program, offense looked better than it does now. Totally new offense being installed now, new personnel. So I can understand. New coaching staff, I can understand. But you don't know anything about your team. Zero. Zero.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No. Listen, hear me out. As a player, you don't know anything about your team until you see them lining up against somebody else who doesn't know your plays.
I know that. That's the obvious. I get that. But
and you don't know anything about your coach. And I've always said this, and I firmly do believe this, and I will go to my grave saying this. You don't know anything about your coach until you see how he handles adversity, until you see how he conducts himself and his staff when they hit a 3-game losing skid. And is it panic time? Is it finger pointing blame time?
That's not what I asked you.
But Tyreek is saying what he needs to say. What's supposed Tyreek came out and was on whatever the show he was on ESPN and said, yeah, Tua's all right. What would the reaction be?
Well, then obviously it would not be a good reaction.
Okay.
Would not be a good reaction. You would want him to be, but he is overly supportive. So to me, I think he stepped into a situation that he likes. He really likes. It's not just about the check. I think
it's not just about what? It's not just about what?
It's not just about the check, because he could have gotten the check in New York, and he would have had a bigger media following around him in New York. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Come to.
Oh, you broke up.
South Florida for a team that New York Jets, which God knows they haven't won since 2017, and play with Zach Wilson, who was the second worst quarterback in the NFL, with no weapons.
Oh, you're breaking up there.
Around you, like you tell me.
It's hard to tell you. It's hard to answer anything where I can't pick up on what you're saying. You're breaking up. I don't know where you're freezing. You're breaking. It's hard to pick up what you're saying right now.
So I lost power. So can you hear me?
Yeah. Now we can finally. Okay. Yes.
Oh, you know what? I lost power, so my Wi-Fi is resetting itself. But let me see if my
He's got the Clay Ferraro connection. Oh, God. How can he not say it's different? Like, it's obvious it's different. Like, players are walking into a building with competent coaches. Like, they're the guys that were here last year and then walk in this year, they must be like going, wow, this is how they really do it in football. Okay, now we've got it. Teron Armstead's walking in going, yeah, this is how they do it. And the other guys are like, yeah, that's not how we did it last year. Nah, Teron, you got the good stuff. We got the shitty stuff last year. And that's where I think it's changed with the whole thing with Tyreek. Are you there?
Yeah, I lost power in my home, so you know how that is with Wi-Fi resetting and blah blah blah. We're on a backup generator. Right?
You don't have a power charger there on I've got one down here that's
no. Oh, you mean so hook up my Wi-Fi to the power charger? That's actually not a bad idea.
Like when there is a lightning strike or you get one of those.
Yeah, that's not a bad. That's not a. It's over there.
And it never runs out and it never turns off and it's always running.
That is
because it goes up on the backup battery.
That is not a bad idea, bro. That is not a bad idea. I have it. It's just not connected to the Wi-Fi. But yeah, that's not a bad idea, Big O.
I've lived with the studio for 20 years, brother. You live, you learn. So
yeah, listen.
I've had the power go out while I'm on the air, but people don't realize it because the backup battery kicks in and everything stays on. And so I'm lucky in that sense.
Yeah, we got a backup generator, but the Wi-Fi obviously needs time to reset. But yeah.
What are you expecting tomorrow? Because no pads. So what are we looking for? The Meteors first 3 days, and I would imagine pads on Saturday.
Just going through the motions. No pads on Saturday. That's too. You have to go like 4 practices.
Well, I thought Cham said 3, so that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday pads. Sunday you're off. Maybe Saturday. Maybe this whole week they don't do pads. And
because today counts as a practice. So it's I understand that I'm my basis is on past history. So today's conditioning test counts as a practice. 3 practices, maybe pads on Saturday. You're right. I don't remember which is open to the fans. Is Saturday open to the fans?
It's Saturday. Now, that I know for a fact, Saturday at 10:25. I hope there's pads on Saturday for the fans, man, because people that drive out there to see a practice without pads.
Bro, it's still worth it no matter what. I hope they get back to players signing autographs. I don't know where they are from a COVID standpoint with that, but I think training camp is one of the best experiences that a fan can have, especially since it doesn't cost you $1. Doesn't cost you $1. You can go out there, you can take your kids, take your fans. I love, especially, and I can tell you the good practices. The end of the week practice is usually the good practice. It's usually they're going to scrimmage, give you more 11-on-11s because guys have break the next day and they want to see where they are. The first week is trash. The second week is usually good. And then obviously joint practices. If you could attend joint practices, do so because that's when you get the most revelations.
Definitely. And also bring joints to joint practices.
Bring joints? Why are you going to bring joints?
Because, you smoke 2 joints in the morning. You smoke 2 joints in the afternoon. You smoke 2 joints before you smoke 2 joints. And then you smoke 2 joints again. Yeah, so that's... Yeah, if you're going to see joint practices, I think you should have a joint while you're watching joint practices. That's for the fans, not for us media members. But I'm just saying, a little cumulonimbus cloud coming out of the practice facility.
Did you know you could go to Wynwood and now literally walk into a store and buy weed, not CBD, weed? Did you know that?
Well, I did not know that, but I'm not surprised. I mean. I just was in Vegas. They've got like 3-floor.
I mean, it's legal. It's legal there.
Yeah, it's recreational. Here it's medical.
Technically legal here, but it's not recreational. But nobody's.
No, it's medical. It's medical.
But nobody's asking you for a card.
No, they don't.
No.
I would imagine they would ask you for a card, bro.
No.
I don't know. I haven't been to one. They don't.
I mean, I don't want to be snitching or nothing. But yeah, my boy was here like 2 weeks ago, and we went to Wynwood and went to hang out, and it's like weed shops on every corner in Wynwood, and literally that he's a smoker, and he's like, this is some good grade, and he's like, this is a good price, and he's like, literally, they're not asking for nothing, they're not asking for no card, no nothing. I mean, but that's it's a wink situation.
Well, by chance, I have a meeting in Wynwood after the show.
Do you think?
Didn't know. I got to go to Wynwood after the show. It's just one of those things. All right, what are you working on?
I was shocked. I was really shocked. Wynwood, because it doesn't resemble anything that I remember. And I used to live out there. Like, it's different than it was 3 years ago. Like, you got to go on the Wynwood walls, you got to pay $20 now, by the way. You know, when it used to be free? And
Why don't you go to Wynwood? Why don't you go to Wynwood 30 years ago when you were playing with your life?
Not even 30, 15. 15, bro.
No, but if you really want to get ugly, go about 30 years back. And those
30 years back,
were,
I probably used to work out there. 30 years, 30
years.
yes.
Put it this way, 30 years ago and 40 years ago, you only went to the Omni and you parked inside the Omni. And then you left the Omni and you never went anywhere else once you crossed that side of the highway.
Omni is a very underutilized place. If I was Steve Ross, I would buy the Omni and turn that joker into something great. I don't know what, but, something great. Like, the Omni is such a great location, and it's so underutilized.
Yeah, I used to work at the Omni years ago. I used to work at a clothing store back in the 80s. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. All right, what are you doing at the Sun Sentinel so folks can check that joint out?
I've got right now the best training camp battles of 2022. What's your favorite training camp battle, Big O? You hear me?
Yeah, no, I heard you. I'm trying to think of a real battle.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out that there is a real battle that, oh my God, and it's really on the offensive line, and I have to then find out who are the guards battling for certain spots and the right tackle.
It's just the left guard spot that's open, and then obviously if Austin Jackson isn't the answer at right tackle, then things go into flux.
Right, and that's where my intrigue is.
The way you look at the offensive line is find the top 5 guys, and then they're going to figure it out. That's what they've always said.
Right, because I'm not thinking of Hunter challenging Gesicki, and I'm not thinking of Igbenogany challenging any of the 3 guys. I'm just looking at Igbenogany to get better, and Hunter to get better. With
Byron Jones sidelined, you do realize that Igbenogany and Trill Williams will be in a very heated battle for that boundary spot.
Yeah, I'm not really looking at a battle. I'm just looking at Noah to get better. You know what I mean? And if Trill actually shows you something, then that's a great bonus.
That's one of my battles.
That is a battle. You are correct. You are correct.
My favorite battle is
Chase Edmonds in that position. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
My favorite battle is Chase Edmonds versus the field, because I don't think you can't just say, oh, this guy's making the most money, he's going to be the most effective. And Chase Edmonds was the yards after the contact leader in the NFL last season per carry, but I don't know who fits that scheme the best. Could be Mostert, could be Sony Michel, could be Myles Gaskin, who everybody's left for dead, could be Zakawandre White. I really was he was my favorite rookie in OTAs, and I'm curious to see what happens when the pads come on. So that's one of my favorite battles. And then your guys, Brandon Jones versus Eric Flowers, which is, they're both situational players. Brandon makes splash plays, but he's so unreliable. The question is, will he become more reliable in year 3? And then Eric.
Well, see, here's where we're gonna. I think they're 2 different players.
They are 2 different players, but which does this coaching staff lean on?
Brandon is better against the run. He's a better blitzer than this guy. And then I look at Rowe, and he is better against tight ends than he is really against wide receivers.
And better in coverage, and better understanding the scheme.
Well, of course, because he's more experienced, but he's really he's not as good against wide receivers. Whereas obviously Brandon, That's the one area that he has to improve
does he
on.
cover wide receivers well?
Who?
Brandon Jones.
Who? No,
Brandon
he doesn't
Jones.
cover anybody well yet. That's
Okay.
where he has to, he only has to really improve in one area. I'm already satisfied with his run, and he'll get better. And I'm satisfied as a rusher, and he'll get, with Eric Rowe, I only look at him as his positives are covering tight ends. I don't look at him as a positive covering wide receivers.
Hold on.
And I don't look at him as the blitzer. I don't look at him as the blitzer that Brandon is, and I'll never look at him as the run protector that Brandon is. So that's where you and I will differ on that, and I will part ways and say, give me Brandon, because I'm going to get more of an all-around player if I can develop a little bit more in the coverage.
He finished third in tackles last season, and you don't think that in his third year as a safety, he can improve in run fits and tackling and all those things?
Who?
Rowe.
Oh, God, no, I think he is what he is already at this point. You know what I mean? At this point, I think he's reached what he is. In fact, this team saved his ass by making him more valuable in covering tight ends, because that's something that became a specialty for him and a really important thing. And please don't start with the whole shit that he couldn't cover the guy from the Raiders or he can't cover the guy from Kansas City. Nobody covers those guys. Enough already.
But I
hate
he had a
that
good
shit.
year last year.
It's like Tim Ruddy was a good player, and then they tell you, well, but he couldn't block Ted Washington. Fuck, who can block Ted Washington? He was built like 8 human beings. Leave Tim Ruddy alone. Nobody blocks Ted Washington. It's like that was always the same shit with him. It's like, dude, he's a good player. Yeah, I know he struggles against Ted Washington. Everybody struggles against Ted Washington. Have you seen Ted Washington? Jesus Christ, there are some people. Aaron Donald, I don't care who you are. You're going to struggle against that guy. It is what it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just like we get to this point where it's just like sometimes we don't want to give people the credit that they deserve for who they are. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly and catch his exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Center. Always. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
All right, big dog. All right.
You got it. EJD Construction, baby. Call him. And I'm talking about major home remodeling. We're not talking about some handyman or anything like that. Call the great people at EJD Construction, 305-433-4843, and they do it all. Custom home construction, major home remodeling. You want to add a second floor to your house? You want to add an extra room? You want to modernize that kitchen? You want to upgrade that backyard and redo it and put a tiki hut and kitchen and barbecue and grill out there? You call the people at EJD Construction. They do all that kind of home construction. You want a TV coming out of the wall? That's what you do at EJD Construction. They'll take care of you. 305-433-4843 and fully insured. $2 million liability, $1 million workers' comp. He's not picking up a couple dudes at Home Depot and then showing up at your house. These are professionals, and they'll get it done the right way, and they're fully insured. I always tell you this. Do not allow anyone to work in your home that is not fully insured, because if they get injured in your home, they will sue you. And now you are in a problem. And trust me, most of those people, they know the rules. They know the laws better than you do, that you won't realize it. Do not allow anyone to work in your home that isn't fully insured. If you don't call EJD Construction, you call somebody else that's fully insured. 305-433-4843. All right, let's start off hour number 4. George Richards, baby, the legend, covering the Panthers. He now has some swag in the locker room. We'll talk about that next.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.